In a previous video, we demonstrated how the missionaries deceive their audiences regarding the Quran. How they skip crucial verses intentionally, to make the Quran say what it doesn't.
Verse 47, right? After, it explains in 46 that it revealed the gospel to Jesus, right? And then it says in verse 47, it says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. And whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed in it, they are of the rebellious, they are of the wrongdoers. So this is what we have here. We have the Quran holding Jews and Christians accountable. They are held accountable for judging according to the scriptures they have. And the reason why they're held accountable is because these are supposed to be revelations from Allah with his judgments, with his decisions. And to stray away from them, to stray away from their scriptures, shows that you're rebelling against Allah, you're rebelling against God, you're rebelling against his commands.
I don't want to be defiantly disobedient.
So specifically here, we might hear, well, it says, let the people of the gospel judge, but judge by what? It literally tells you in the phrase, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed in it. It's talking about the gospel. So the gospel is used for judgment. It's good for reproach. How do we know this? Let's continue to see what the Quran says. Same chapter, chapter 5, verse 68. Chapter 5, verse 68, verse 68, verse 68.
So this missionary was reading Surah 5 verse 47, and instead of reading the very next verse 48, he jumps to Surah 5 verse 68. It is nothing new for the missionaries to intentionally ignore verse 48. Dr. James White, a Christian debater, also did the same thing in a debate with Yusuf Ismail.
And if you can show me something in the context that changes this, please do. I wasn't shown anything that changes this. All I was just thrown out there, you're reading it acontextually.
He was shown verse 48.
To thee, Muhammad, we reveal scripture, confirming what came before it, meaning confirming that, and acting as a quality control, a muhaiminan alayhi, a quality control, a guardian, a check.
I am one of the people of the gospel. This is addressed to me. What am I supposed to do with it? Who am I supposed to judge? What am I supposed to judge? How am I supposed to judge by if I no longer have the gospel? If the gospel is a book given to Jesus that had disappeared by the days of Muhammad, how could anyone to whom this was addressed and anyone down through the centuries thereafter obey this text? How am I supposed to obey the Quran in light of your beliefs? I don't want to be defiantly disobedient.
Dear sincere and honest Christians, unlike these two debaters, you obey these texts by firstly, reading verse 48 and secondly, getting the interpretation of these verses from Islamic scholars. It is really that simple.
Now let's see another deceptive missionary who is known to hold a PhD, by the way, playing the same game. He posted this video not long ago.
In chapter 5, verse 46 and 47 of the Quran, it lays out a chain of custody that God sent down the gospel to Jesus, confirming the Torah, both of which contained guidance and light, and said that the people of the gospel, in other words the Christians, must judge by what God has revealed to them in the gospel. If they don't judge by the gospel that God has given to them, then they're referred to as the defiantly disobedient.
I don't want to be defiantly disobedient.
This brings me back to chapter 5, verse 46 and 47 of the Quran. In order to take this passage seriously, a passage that addresses me personally as a person of the gospel, a Christian, I run into a problem. If I judge the Quran by the gospel,
Wait a minute. Nowhere in this passage is it telling you to judge the Quran by the gospel. It actually tells you to judge the gospel by the Quran.
If I judge the Quran by the gospel, which I am commanded to do in order to not be one of the defiantly disobedient, I find that the Quran misunderstands, lacks comprehension of, and outright contradicts the Torah and the gospel.
Bro, you've never had the original Torah of Moses, nor the original gospel of Jesus, the one that God revealed to them. Do you get it? No, we thought so.
So if the Quran is true, and I obey it in this instance, by the standards it tells me to judge by, I find the Quran false.
So this missionary also tried to pull the wool over our eyes. No surprises. He left out verse 48.
The reason behind them trying to hide Surah 548 is because it tells them to obey the Quran and judge by the Quran. It clearly reads, "We have revealed to you, O Prophet, this book with the truth, as a confirmation of previous scriptures and a supreme authority on them. So, judge between them by what God has revealed, and do not follow their desires over the truth that has come to you.
I don't want to be defiantly disobedient.
Let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein.
By the standards it tells me to judge by, I find the Quran false.
The ordinary people, poor people, they don't know what's going on. What game is being played? Who knows?
This is what happens. Allah describes it to us in the Holy Quran. بَلْ نَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ. When truth is hurled against falsehood, it knocks out its brains.
Cowabunga.
ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أولئك يعرضون على ربهم ويقول الأشهاد هؤلاء الذين كذبوا على ربهم ألا لعنة الله على الظالمين